Sacrifices and family hand in hand. My family is the most important thing in my life. They give unconditional love, guide me onto the road to success. They are there for me when I need advice and when I just need an ear to listen to my problems. Yet at times your family can be the ones that upset you the most and disappoint you. But in the end, they're still your blood. Because this, I believe no matter what your family does, they're still your family. I have to deal with my family on an everyday basis. My father divorced my mother when I was only 10 years old, and she could not always handle the entire load by herself. That did not bother me because my role as an older son and a big brother is to protect and help my mother and sisters. I accomplished this by always being there for my mom, helping her with groceries, picking up my little sisters, and sometimes even doing little handyman chores around the house. I love doing this, and I am proud of being a good son. No matter what, I am still part of this family. My dad not being at home is one of the hardest things I've ever experienced. It is a huge responsibility taking care of my 3-year-old sister and putting up with a 10-year-old while watching my single mother strive to do her very best for us and do whatever she had to do to make sure we were fed and clothed. This is sometimes very frustrating and time-consuming. Just knowing if my father was here, things would be so much easier. Life would be completely different. There are times when I have to stop what I am doing in order to play that father figure role for my sisters. Most of the time, doing this doesn't bother me, while other times it frustrates me to the fullest extent. For instance, I got a phone call one day from my mom asking me to bring my little sister to the doctor. Normally, this would be no problem, but today was not just any normal day. It was my prom. I was running around like a chicken with my head cut off, trying to get everything in order for the night I had been waiting on pretty much my entire high school career. With my mom knowing this, she still had no control over her work. She could not get off. Fighting back and forth with her about me not being able to take Aaliyah because I had way too much to do for the night. I got nowhere and finally just gave in. Knowing that this would knock off about 2 to 3 hours of my day, I had no clue how I was going to get the time back. While waiting in the waiting room for my sister, I had to cancel my haircut and I had to pay a friend to pick up my date's corsage. I was beyond frustrated with my family at this point. The doctor seemed to be taking entirely way too long. After what seemed like 5 hours, my sister came walking through the door of the waiting room. As the doctor was trying to tell me about Aaliyah's visit, I quickly signed the papers and cut him short of his words. I had no more time to be wasted in my mind. We quickly raced to the car and then straight home. With having that over, my stress level started to come down, and I realized by taking my sister, it hadn't put too big of a dent in my schedule. But I did have a few sour thoughts of my dad, because I knew if he had been around, we wouldn't have been this stressed. Over the years, I have had anger and bad feelings towards my father, but with time and maturing, I have grew out of that. I have just kept the idea that I would never abandon my family. It is that keeps me from getting frustrated and angry when I am not able to do the things I need in order to take care of myself, because there are some father duties I have to take care of first. Every time I get these thoughts, I take a deep breath and I go back in time and remember all the great things my father had accomplished for his family. I choose not to be upset with my dad, but to stand up and be the man my father had raised me to be. I believe that my family is the most important thing in my life.